Hello. So, I am here to talk about behaviour. And I know that I've spoken about this just recently. But some headlines in the news over the weekend, this particularly affecting Scottish schools, got me thinking again about this word behaviour and how there are proposals from the Scottish Government on what could be done to alleviate said extreme behavioural problems in schools. Now, the one that seems to be doing the rounds at the moment that was reported at the weekend is reducing school times, particularly for secondary schools, with the argument being that teenagers sometimes aren't able to get out of bed on time to start school at whatever time school starts at. I don't know. I know that it was probably, we had to be at school for registration back in my day about 20 to 9, with the first lessons starting about 9 o'clock. I don't think it's changed that much. I think it's pretty much the same. There are also proposals for the whole of Scottish schools to finish on a half day on a Friday. Now, this came as a surprise to me because I thought that all schools finished on a Friday at lunchtime, 12:30ish, because we certainly did back in my day, and I haven't been in school for about 300 years, about 35. But we definitely had a half day on a Friday, and I'm pretty sure, and my friends can confirm this to me, that we also finished early on a Wednesday, but that doesn't happen anymore. But the half day Friday, that has been in place for longer than 35 years. If I say it quietly, then it isn't true. Because I'm only 35 myself. So, the thing that really bothers me is that there are policies in place that are there to help every child. Now, they are beautiful acronyms. If you're a teacher in a Scottish school, then you should know them. If you're a parent, you may not know them because you may have seen posters. Definitely Shannari. You will definitely have seen Shannari. It's in just about every classroom. GIRFEC, probably not so much. And I found it really interesting. I have it written down, the definition, on the Scottish Government's education site. GIRFEC is the Scottish Government's commitment to provide all children and young people and families with the right support at the right time to every child and young person in Scotland so they can reach their full potential. So that's GIRFEC. It stands for Getting It Right for Every Child. I am emphasising every. Yet it seems that we're not really doing that, because if you then go in and look at the GIRFEC framework, where there are children who have stage development or complexity in their life circumstances, then there should be action taken with the school, with the local authority, with relevant agencies to help that child and their families. Now, if that was the case, why are we having conversations about the increase in violent extreme behaviours in school? So that's one thing that bothers me, that are we using GIRFEC at all? Now, what we do know about Scottish education is that there is definitely a lack of money. There's a lack of money for bringing in new teachers. There's a lack of money to bring in support staff. There's a lack of money to even provide resources to help the staff that are there already. Scottish schools are stretched to the maximum. And saying let's start school an hour later, well, if you're saying that teenagers are struggling to get up and get to school for 9 o'clock, what makes you think that they're going to get in for 9:30, 10 o'clock? You know, the answer is simple. The answer is emotional literacy. And the earlier you start to help your child with their emotional understandings and how they regulate that, the faster they are at being able to regulate themselves, and behavioural symptoms lessen. This should be absolutely fundamental in every local authority education department. It should be absolutely fundamental taught in nurseries, primary schools, secondary schools. No one should leave school not knowing how to emotionally regulate themselves. And can you imagine what would happen if your child or your children were able to be emotionally available, literate? It would mean that you would have a better connection with your child. Your child would be able to communicate with you, with their teachers, with other adults, with other educators, with other people outside in the world, how they're feeling, what's happening. They would be able to help create solutions to problems that they are experiencing. They would be able to take those skills into secondary school, where things start getting a bit harder, where hormones start coming into play. They would be able to help themselves work out, but would still have people that they could trust and connect with to actually help them through emotional problems without resorting to the behaviour that comes from nobody listening to them and nobody helping them understand what's going on. Taking it into university, where it gets even tougher, where you're on your own, you are now independent. Nobody's going to tell you to do the reading, do the assignments, do whatever else is happening at university. It's all on you. That is a huge stretch from being in school. But having emotionally intelligent young people with places where they can go, like the CAM room, where they can find people they can trust, they feel safe with, they can connect with, they can get help for the problems that they're experiencing with their emotions and deal with them in a safe way, regulate them safely. That then goes into the workplace. Employers understand emotional overwhelm, they understand emotional needs. They understand the need for people to be able to feel safe to express themselves and not be thought of as a troublemaker, as someone who is always angry or someone who is always moody. Can you imagine? Because I can see a world where if we emotionally help our children by helping ourselves first and then helping our children to understand their emotions, why they're feeling certain ways, how they feel in their bodies, and what they can do to help understand that, help to regulate that, instead of resorting to behaviour like kicking, punching, spitting, swearing, all the rest, throwing stuff at people. If we can do that, can you imagine what we could achieve together as emotional, well-rounded human beings who listen to each other, who take on board what other people tell us, who understand, who create solutions, not more problems. And it all starts with you. Get in the CAM room. DM right now.